Welcome here to Southern Sense. I'm your hostess, Annie Ubelis, and I'm going to mess up your last name, so please
That's okay.
do it for
Laith Higazin.
me. All right, and you started just a couple of years ago, Revelation Gold Group with another gentleman. Um, and the name is unusual unless you're someone that has someone of faith, you would understand why. But why don't you tell the audience, why did you choose that name?
So we chose Revelation Gold Group. It's Revelation comes from a book in the Bible, one of the last books in the Bible. And the reason we chose it was because we are a faith-based Christian conservative company. Everybody that we hire at the company shares our Christian values of really trying to help our fellow man, biblical stewardship, being honest and transparent and as supportive as possible when it comes to helping everyday Americans access gold and silver investing as a part of their portfolio. So those faith-based principles are important to us. We embody them. Myself and our co-founder is also a Christian, and so are most folks here. So just really important for us, and we chose that name because we want to be unbashful and we want to put it out there. We're not embarrassed to show that we are a faith-based company, and a lot of people, they love that. They work with us because of that precisely. We're not the largest company on earth. We may not even have the smartest people or the most brilliant minds. I'm going to be humble, but I know that we have God-honoring people here, and a lot of people, they come and they want to work with us because of that and because of the experience that they get. But our people are pretty smart and pretty great as well. So
I got to say, this I do find amazing because you have an 800 number, and I was trying to call you earlier today, so I picked up the phone number and I just dialed it, and I said, okay, now I'm getting into this whole big thing. You're going to go press one for this. No, why do I have to press one for English type of thing? So I hung up,
Mhm.
and I didn't leave a message or anything. I didn't wait on the line, and the next thing I know, a few moments later, your company is calling me back, and you tried to call it. You don't find that in companies today.
No, we really do care. We'll call you back as soon as just a few minutes, as you got to experience it firsthand. Um, we do our best. We do our best.
Right. Well, now you handle IRAs, but you also do other stuff too, and we're going to get into that. But one of the things I wanted to point out, in Revelations being the last book in the Bible, it deals with us heading into the end of time. And when you look at today, all the craziness that's going on around us, the rise of AI and all these other weird things going on, a lot of people are not so much losing faith, but feel like we are coming into the end of time.
Mhm.
Uh, and if they actually read all the way through, at the very end, we win.
Yes, that's correct. We get to um, at the end of the book, we get to essentially all the believers. They get to go and be with Jesus Christ and God and everybody else that we've loved in life who are also believers. And you're exactly right. It does feel like we are in the end times, and I've mentioned that before. And that it's fitting for our company name, Revelation Gold Group, because they describe the end times in that book. It does feel like we are in the end times. It seems like even just basic things like a family being able to afford groceries seems to be such an impossible mission. And you've got the wife and the husband working, and the kids are having to do without certain things just to put food on the table, and that seems very end times to me. It's hard to get a job. Things like AI are. I saw the other day, my mother was actually almost scammed by AI. She gets a phone call or an email, and you can't tell if it's a real person or not, and it sounds like somebody that you know. I mean, we're fighting a hard life. It almost feels like we're fighting demons at sometimes. So
Yeah, it is an amazing time that we're in. And I can remember um, at one point we had a gold standard. Our money was backed by gold and silver.
mhm.
Um, and for over 100 years, up until the 1960s, a quarter was worth a quarter. So you
Hmm.
got the same amount of goods for a dollar as you did 100 years before. But
Hmm.
once taken off the gold standard, and I say this all the time, thank you, Richard
Hmm.
Nixon, uh, then that's when we saw our money losing value.
Hmm.
I mean, we growing up as a kid, I remember going into the grocery store and you could buy a whole chicken for 19 cents a pound.
Wow.
And you're now looking at $6 or more a pound. And that's in just my short lifetime. But we lost that standard. So our money's losing value. You can put it in the bank, but come 10, 20 years from now, it doesn't have an appreciation value of any significance that you can retire on.
No, I couldn't agree more with you. And 1971, I believe, was the year that Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. And from there, our fiat became just a floating fiat currency, just going through the wind. It was no longer backed by anything. Um, we saw rampant inflation after that, similar to what we've seen here recently. But Annie, there's hope. I think there is. I think. Let me just share a bit of a story. If you look at what the central banks have been doing the last few years, they've been the largest buyers of gold. In fact, earlier this year, central bank reserves in gold have surpassed U.S. Treasuries for the first time in a very long time. Meaning they have more gold than they do U.S. Treasuries. They're putting their faith and their trust in gold than they are in these dollars that are losing their value. And I find that really interesting because it's almost like they are seeing something coming. They're seeing maybe the price of gold continuing to go up, or just something really bad happening to the US Treasuries or to the dollar. And they're backing themselves up with an insurance policy, essentially, having gold. And I think that's really interesting to see because even with the pullback in prices for precious metals this year, they are still continuing to buy at record paces. And I think that that's something that's really important for everybody to watch. They're essentially building their own personal gold backed asset, uh, reserves, insurance policy. And I really think Americans should be thinking about their retirement in the same way. And that's what we help people do. We help people buy and invest in precious metals. You can buy it physically with cash and hold it in your own home, or you could even do it with your eligible retirement funds. So you can, in fact, sort of recreate those pre-1971 gold-backed standards for yourself by purchasing precious metals. So that's what we help people do, and that's what we encourage them and help educate them.
Yeah, because I remember when Richard Nixon did that. That's how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
But a friend of my mother's said, buy gold now. And that was in the 1970s. And at that point, it was climbing up towards $300 an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
What's the price for gold today?
The price for gold today is just above $4,000 an ounce, and silver is right around $60 an ounce.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It has appreciated a lot. And this is one thing that you do. It's like, here you are, you're young, you're watching the economy go to hell in a handbasket, and
Mm-hmm.
all the turmoil in the world. And you go, well, how am I going to end up having something for my retirement?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of looking for Uncle Sam to give you your Social Security check and all the other benefits, that may not be around in the future. So what do they do? And that's where you came in with the idea and your partner. Tell us about your partner.
Tell us about what? I'm sorry, Anne. What was the
Partner,
question?
your partner in crime with at
My,
Revelation.
my partner, he's phenomenal. His name is Mark Johnson. In fact, we go as far back as college together, so we've known each other for quite a bit. He's phenomenal. He's one of the most dependable and reliable and resourceful people I have come to know in my life. He's always there and has got your back no matter what. And he treats this company and our clients the same way. It's not one-sided or exclusive to just a friendship, but he really brings that to work every single day. And he actually started from the bottom in this industry. He joined precious metals, got into it right after college, and he learned so much. And he saw what a lot of companies were doing that he didn't like. It didn't sit well with him. There are some bad apples in our industry, and he didn't want to partake in, high pressure sales or putting people in high premium items or not really being transparent and honest. And he reached out to me one day and he said, Laith, I was working in corporate America, just helping build companies for other folks. And he said, I think we could do this better, and we could do it in a way that, is a God honoring way. And that's Mark for you.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, when I did call, it was Mark himself that called me back. He didn't know all he knew was he saw a phone number, and he said, "Well, this person's reaching out. Let me reach out." I found phenomenal. Even when we had the problem with which link I sent you. I sent you the wrong link originally, and I called up and I said, "No, I got it. He's got it. Don't worry about it." And I think that's what you were bringing to your clients, because if he does this to me and I'm just nobody, he doesn't even know my name much or if anything, and he goes back so swiftly, and that means you really do care about the people that come to you.
That sounds like him. And we often speak to clients ourselves. If our line is too busy when somebody's calling in, we have it so that it routes to Mark and my phone number as well. We really want somebody to pick up the phone, even if it's us, even if we're busy. Clients are really important to us. You're really important to us. Annie, I'm sure he knew who you were. And I know you've been working closely with another phenomenal individual here. Her name is Gabriella, but she has been just out of office for a few days, so we're filling in. So you not allowed
a day off. No, she can't have that.
Well, she's putting Mark to good use, is what it sounds like. So I'm glad he got to reach back out to you and show you how we treat everybody.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the first time I ever spoke to her was when she invited me to what you're doing here. As I'm talking to her, I'm going through a bunch of my pets going to the vet, and I actually sold her on the insurance company I use for my pet.
She loves her dogs, that's for sure. Did she show you a picture of them?
No, she didn't. No.
Okay, she loves her dogs. I'm sure she took it to heart.
Yeah. People say, "Well, why gold?" But that again goes back to the Bible. And you can look at the three wise men. You can look throughout the Bible. Gold has a place in it. But how do you mix faith with money? And they said, no, money is evil. Money is the cause of all evil in the world. Not necessarily, because again, in the Bible, it gives you parables that Christ would say about how the lazy person versus the one that is diligent and faithful. So that is what your company is based upon, listening to the teachings in the parables by Christ, saying that, no, it's okay to have money. It's what you do is what makes it good or bad.
And being responsible with it and good stewards of it. There's a lot of people in the world and don't have anything. And then there's some of us who are extremely fortunate, even though sometimes we may not think it. But, what we do have in our bank accounts, and if we have a home that we can afford and a car in the driveway, I mean, we are blessed beyond measure. And I think we ought to be good stewards of all of that. And I think, when people consider precious metals as part of that stewardship, it just makes sense. I mean, gold has been mentioned, don't quote me, but at least 100 times in the Bible, if not a few hundred times. It's been a currency that everybody has seen as a symbol of wealth and has been able to store their wealth in for thousands upon thousands of years, all the way as far back as the pharaohs of Egypt, and probably even before that, in civilizations we may not even know about anymore. So it's a timeless place of wealth, and gold is worth an ounce of gold, whether you're in Russia or America or in South Africa or Australia, and it's always going to keep its wealth, unlike what a paper currency might do.
Well, one of the things you do, because you don't just do gold, you do silver, platinum, and palladium was the other one.
That's correct.
And there's a difference with what you're doing because you can put your money in the bank, but your money is tracked through different services. It's tracked electronically. And
Hmm.
I've had it happen that I went to buy ammunition one day, and I actually had gone to a pawn shop because he had a
Yes.
sideline of selling ammunition. And no sooner did I leave the front door of his shop and get to my car, I get a notice from the credit card company that my account had been put suspended. And I'm calling them, what? Because
No
I guess
kidding.
I actually bought something from someone who sells ammunition and guns.
Oh,
So and we're hearing now that they're trying to pass legislation and things that you can't go after a person because of their beliefs. You can't freeze their,
mm.
but we're seeing that this has been done in various large banks. Now, you're saying that if you do what we're offering you, you've got a physical tangible item that they can't take away from you.
That's exactly right, Anne. It's a physical, tangible item. No banks can freeze it. The government can't freeze it. Your neighbor can't freeze it. Nobody can freeze it. It's yours. It's worth something. You can hold it in your hand. You can take a bar of gold and go buy a car with it. Tell your neighbor, hey, I'll buy that car off you. It's worth something. If our currency collapsed, it's worth something. You can still use it to go buy a car or barter for eggs or groceries. You're exactly right, Ann, and that's not just something that I think legislation is pushing to have more control over us on a personal level, which is very scary. By the way, it sounds like a very dystopian future. But if you take a look at what we've done on a global scale, it's already happening. And I think the reason why precious metals have gone up so much in price and in value, and there's so much demand for it, is because in 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Washington froze hundreds of billions of dollars worth of their US treasuries just overnight. That money was gone. And what did every finance minister in every country on earth look at that and say and do? They said, we can't have that happen to our country. Like, we need to not be so dependent on this fiat currency that could just be frozen by the whims of someone overseas. So they all started buying, their banks started buying gold at just record numbers. They've been the largest buyers over the last few years. So they've gone after ownership and control and safety and security, and they've done it for themselves. Countries like China, Poland, Turkey, those are some of the biggest buyers of gold. And if they're doing it, and that's the smartest money and the smartest minds on the planet, if they're doing it, they're getting out of the dollar and getting into gold. And I really think we ought to all consider it ourselves as well.
Well, the United States, its dollar has been the global standard for money. And you see now everyone's shuffling around saying, no, no, it's going to be the yen or it's going to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to take that away from us where we have the ability to control a lot of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, this is where, again, you come into play because now you've got something physical. And when people do buy into this, if they want to actually hold the stuff at home or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
they can physically do that. They don't have to worry about you saying, oh, yeah, yeah, you own 10 bars of this or 10 bars of that. They can actually hold it if they want. Otherwise, as I understand, you would put it in a depository for them that they have access to anytime they want. They can actually go to it if they want to go to that depository and physically look at what they have.
That's exactly correct. If they don't want to, or they have to store it in a depository, we'll help them set that up. We'll pay for the first year's fees, in fact, to get them set up in a situation like that. There are a few depositories around the country that we like and we use. There's a depository in Delaware, and my favorite one is the Texas depository down here in Shiner, Texas, not too far away from Dallas. And you are exactly right, Ann. It's not like a over-leveraged group of metals. It's not, your metals aren't mixed in with anybody else's. It's segregated storage. Your metals are there. They're tied to your name, and nobody can take that away from you. Those are your metals, and you can go and visit them and take a look at them. And these places are guarded by dogs, by security cameras, by lasers, by armed security officers. So it's like your own personal Fort Knox.
Well, we don't even know what's left in Fort Knox if there's anything there at all.
We don't know.
Now, most of what you do is with IRAs,
Hmm.
and a lot of people don't understand. As a matter of fact, I get confused very
Hmm.
easily. It doesn't take a lot to confuse me. Um,
Hmm.
but an IRA is an individual retirement account that someone can start to tap into after they reach a certain age, at which point they're not taxed as it's going in, but the taxes when it comes back out. Um, what does someone say, for example, you're now over 60 or your retirement age?
Hmm.
Is it wise still to use an IRA for someone that's older?
So, and the way it works is most people have an IRA or a 401k. Maybe they contributed from their employer their entire lives, and those accounts are great. Everybody in America pretty much has an account like that, and they do their job. However, our traditional retirement accounts that we have with Fidelity or Goldman Sachs or Ameritrade or any of these big companies, they're limited in the type of asset classes that you can have in them. It's really mostly securities, mutual funds, like stocks for the most part. What we do is we help you open what we call a self-directed IRA, but we've coined the term Gold IRA. And what a self-directed IRA is, Anne, is it's an account type that lets you have almost up to 200 different asset classes, from land rights to collectible items to your home to physical precious metals. You can't put physical precious metals in most of your current retirement accounts. So that's what we help people do. We find out if their current retirement account is eligible for a rollover or a transfer. These transfers and rollovers are, for the most part, penalty free and tax deferred. So you keep all the advantages that you like in your current account. We help you with opening your new account. It takes less than 10 minutes. It's fairly simple to say, hey, I want to transfer $100,000. We help you transfer that over to your new Gold IRA. And then you pick and you choose your metals. But you get a lot more flexibility and ownership with the Gold IRA. It's managed by yourself. It's not managed by a broker who takes a percentage every year. So the fees are extremely low. And it's just a safe place to buy your metals, park it, and forget about it.
Now, if you're someone that is a senior citizen, like myself, is it
Mhm.
still wise to do an IRA if you don't have one?
A self-directed IRA?
Yeah.
A lot of people, and um, what's great about your self-directed IRA or Gold IRA is that you can fund it with money that you've saved up your entire life in your IRA. Gold costs about $4,000 an ounce, so if you weren't contributing for most of your working career, you've probably not got a ton of money in a retirement account to transfer it over. And I'm not sure exactly how it works. If you can open a retirement account and add a bunch of cash to it, you'd have to speak to a tax advisor on how that works. But the idea is if you have cash on hand or savings maybe in your couch, in your cushion, or in the bank, or in a chest in the ground outside, you can call us, and what you could do is just a direct purchase. You don't need to do it through a Gold IRA or through a previous IRA that you have. You can just say, hey, I've got 20 grand sitting in a safe. I'd like to swap that out for gold and have gold in my safe instead. And you can purchase with cash and store it at home. So that's what I think you should do if you've got cash, is just get that route.
So you're not just offering IRAs, you're also offering alternatives to an IRA. Um,
Yes.
which is it's funny because I told Gabriella I've got a box full of silver and I have no idea what's in there. So I have to do an inventory on that. But I
Okay.
was it was only $18 an ounce.
Wow. Well, we can get that appraised for you, Ann, and let you know exactly what you've got.
Now, you also partner with a bunch of different organizations and charities and stuff.
Hmm.
How- that is where your Christianity faith comes into place. But you're not there to make money. You're also there to help other organizations and people.
We do, and we donate a portion of our profits to certain organizations. You can see them on our website. Some notable names are the Samaritan's Purse, American Red Cross. There's a few veteran organizations that we donate to. We actually have somebody here. We've had a few people here at the company who have been veterans. And, you know, we started looking at veterans organizations just to honor them. It's something they're passionate about. But we do. It's not entirely about profits. You know, everybody is, you know, we all have to make money and pay our bills and take care of our families. But as much as we can, when God gives us extra, we're happy to give some of it back. And I think it's really important.
There's so much to go into this. I've got notes. I hand scribble my notes, so sometimes I have to go, what the heck did I just write there?
It's okay. I do the same.
You've got great stuff. If people want to go, they can go onto your website, which is revelationgoldgroup.com. Not Revelations. I keep on putting the S in there. But all right. But you had some acronyms in there, but I'm not exactly sure what they stand for. One of them is RMD.
It's what? I'm sorry, Ann.
RMD.
RMD. An RMD is a required minimum distribution. So when you have a retirement account, you've put money in it your whole entire life. At a certain point, Uncle Sam is going to require you to pull some of that money out so that he can get his portion of his taxes on that, because that's when you have to pay your taxes, is on the distribution. So that's what an RMD is. It's a required minimum distribution. I think it kicks in at a certain age. I think 67, 68. Again, ask your tax advisor about RMDs. Don't take what I'm saying here as bulletproof advice, but that's what an RMD is, and you have to start taking them at a certain age. And you can take your RMDs in precious metals. So a lot of our clients will call every year and say, hey, I have to take my required minimum distribution. And we'll send a few gold coins to their home from their account.
Now, when again, you're going to say talk to your tax people, but people are then concerned about how much taxes pay on that physical gold. I was reading somewhere in here that they basically what your purchase price was, and at that point, they're not going to face as heavy a tax load than if they took cash, correct?
So, you know, it's a bit of a technicality, but if they take cash is $100,000. You know what $100,000 is. Metals are a bit different in that somebody might pay $4,200 for an ounce of gold or $4,400 for an ounce of gold, depending on the different type of metal they buy. Let's say it's a bar versus a coin. But inside of your retirement account, your portfolio account size is reported at melt value, which is the spot ticker price that you'll see when you look up metals online. So sometimes you can take advantage of a difference in values depending on what products you buy, and you might get a bit of a lighter tax load. It's not guaranteed, but there is a bit of wiggle room there based on the different types of metals and how they value your metals.
If people do go onto your website, they get a ton of information and brochures that you'll be happy to send that basically explains what all of this is. And what I like about your company is if someone that an IRA is not fitted for, you can actually then buy the actual metals themselves. And as you say, your depository or in your own, underneath your own mattress, whatever you want to do with it.
That's true.
But you also have certain requirements on the quality of the metal. Gold, I think, is 99.6, and everything else is basically 99.95% purity. You know the quality you're getting is not going to be the same as if you turned around into a lot of these companies sell coins and gold, but plated or something like that. doesn't have the same value. So
Mhm.
you are saying this is going to have a definite value on
Mhm.
it.
We do, and we actually, it's 4 nines. That's what we say, meaning 99.99. So it's actually only one small hair away from 100%, but that's the standard of metals that we purchase. They have to be IRA eligible, and in order for the metals to be IRA eligible, they need to be 99.99% a gold. And if you are buying metals from any other shop or a gold shop or even a pawn shop, and you see that the metals aren't exactly that, I would definitely press on the brakes and rethink what you're about to buy.
It's not only that, gold is something that you can physically hand over, in your will or to your kids. You can physically hand it over to someone. So they're not worried about, well, it's inside this account or that account, and then we have
Mm-hmm.
to put these hoops and everything. And before you take anything out, talk to your tax accountant. You can actually physically pick it up and say, hey, graduation gift, here's a bar of gold. I wish. I wish.
I had a client not too long ago. Oh boy, it's actually July, so it has been a while. But for Christmas, he put gold coins in his grandchildren's stocking stuffers. He figured I'd rather give them something that is worth something than just a video game or some sort of toy. So I thought that was a great idea.
You know, the information that's on your website, and I was punching it out all yesterday, going through everything you do. But it really explains everything you do in exact detail, so there's no questions about it. Because you have here this plain English guide to precious metals. Uh, so you walk people through step by step. It's not as if, yeah, well, you saw the commercial on TV, send me $1,000, and we'll get you started. You actually walk people through and help them understand exactly what they are doing.
That's exactly right. We hold your hand through the entire process. We help you with all the paperwork that's involved. But again, our promise is that takes less than 10 minutes because that's the boring part. Nobody likes to do that part. But less than 10 minutes, we're doing it. We're holding your hand. We help you transfer the funds that you're looking to spend on precious metals. Again, we walk you through it, make it very super simple and easy. And lastly, when it comes time to pick your metals, we lay them all out on the table. We don't push you in one direction or pressure you or try and get you to just only buy silver and hide a huge markup in silver because that's what some gold companies do. We lay it all out on the table, from the most generic bullion products up to the more premium limited mintage coins. And we walk you through what each of those entail, and you get to pick and choose. The last thing I want, Ann, is for somebody to call me back a month or two later and they go, Laith, I actually don't know what you sold us. Like, what did you make me buy? What did I buy it for? Or why did I pick this? And oh, you actually ripped me off. I don't want that to ever be the case. So being very transparent and education first is really important to us. We want to make sure everybody knows what they're buying and what they're getting, and that they get to confidently make that choice themselves. And we walk them through the administration side of it, paperwork and things like that.
Well, now people say, well, investing in gold or IRAs, you got to put a huge chunk of money down. But that's not, again, how your company works. Because you have a little guy who only has a fistful of dollars going, well, how do I even start? I don't have $10,000. I don't even have $5,000 to pay. But you can walk them through it and help them their wealth. The little tiny guy is just as important to you as the rich fat cat.
No, that's exactly correct. We have people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on precious metals, and we have people where they've got $10,000 and that's the world to them, and we treat it like it's our world as well. Like, as much as that means to them, it means to us as well. And we roll out the same red carpet treatment for the guy spending $10,000 or the lady spending $500,000. We again walk them through all the same steps, make everything super simple and easy, and help them choose the metals that make sense for them. Again, and our mission is we want precious metals to be accessible to all hardworking Americans. We don't want this to be a process that's scary or confusing or leaves you kind of wondering, well, what did I just finish doing or get out of this? We really want this to be accessible. I think precious metals are a great way to diversify your portfolio. I own some, my parents own some. I don't stop talking about it. My friends and family, they all own some at this point. And I really think all Americans should be able to get into precious metals if that's something that they want.
Yeah, and reading your bio and everything, I was kind of like cracking up because I'm half Italian and half German. And being raised Italian Roman Catholic, mom always dragged you to church, but you
Yeah.
actually enjoyed going to church with your mom. You have those basic family values that are so important and we're seeing lost in today's society.
Hmm.
And I found that so heartwarming that you value family as much as what
Hmm.
you're doing.
Of course. We live it, not just preach it. Growing up, my mom did drag us to church. And, when you're a kid, you don't sometimes want to go, but she made us go. And by the time you really understand how important it is and it's meaningful to you, um, growing up, I mean, we were in church 3 times a week. We had our Sunday service. We had our midweek youth group service on Wednesdays. I remember my pastor comes up and he says, "Laith, we can't afford a janitor to help clean around the church." And he goes, "So we get volunteers." And he goes, "I need you to come vacuum the church every Monday and Wednesday, or it was Tuesday or Thursday." And I'm like, "The whole church?" And I'm like, 15 years old. He goes, "Yeah, the whole church. What's wrong with that? You're strong, and God's given you arms and legs." So we did everything in church. I loved it. It was one of my favorite parts of growing up. And I used to go with my mom, and I still do when I get to be near her. When you grow up and you move away a little bit, it becomes hard to go every Sunday with your mom, but whenever I can, I do go.
Oh, you're gonna make a good husband one day.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you so much.
Well, we got just a couple of minutes left, but I wanted to follow up because I just lost my train of thought.
Hmm.
In your bio, you said you've been to what, 27 of the states?
I have. Growing up, I had a Jeep. I had one of those, banged up, cool Jeeps that you can take on a road trip with your friends, and I sure put it to use. Me and my friends would just get in the car and like, we're going to New Orleans this weekend, and we'd do things like that. Or we're going to this national park. Our favorite thing was going to national parks, to be honest with you. We loved to hike, and not just any hike. We'd be like, give me the 20-mile hike up a mountain. And so I do love to explore. I think America is so beautiful. I mean, people like to go to Europe and Asia and all these places, and I'm just like, I'm sure it's great there too. I've been to a few places, but there's nothing like home. I mean, we have all the climates, all the geographies. We have mountains, beaches, deserts, forests. I think even some parts of Washington count as like a rainforest, even, which is really cool. And we've got tropical Florida, and we've got it all. The fall seasons, everything is so beautiful. So I do love to get around and visit as many places as I can. And there's no better way to do it than with friends or family or loved ones. So that is a hobby of mine.
Well, I remember right after I graduated from college, which I worked 3 jobs myself to put myself through.
Wow.
Um, I had owned a travel agency, and you
No
weren't even
kidding.
parents' eyes back then. I, I saw that you said 27. I actually pulled the map up and I started counting. I made it up to,
Hmm.
oh, wait a minute, Hawaii makes it 24. Forgot about Hawaii. Uh,
Wow. We're almost even.
yeah, but I have a lot more time on than you
Yeah.
have.
I have not been to Hawaii though. I need to go there. We can have that count as 3 or 4 states for you, and then we could be even. Because I'm sure it's beautiful.
Well, people can find you by going to revelationgoldgroup.com. And as I said, you guys pick up the phone right away. You don't
Hmm.
need to on hold. If you don't want to sit, you end up calling us back, which I found absolutely amazing. I actually had a politician do that to me once. I called the
Really?
state there, and got through to his answering thing, and I just, oh, the heck with it. I hung up. I didn't have any patience. I
Hmm.
5 days later, the senator turns around, personally calls me back, not his staff. But that's what people can expect also from you, that type of attitude to your customers.
And I think it's the most important thing. We want to take care of our clients. It's servant leadership is really what that is. If you look at the story of Jesus Christ, I mean, he was the Son of God. He could have, you know, had all the gold and all the most amazing, comfortable life possible. What did he do? He rode a donkey and he went around serving people. Essentially, a smelly mule, or he'd walk, and we try to live our lives that way as well when we can. You'll hear from myself or from Mark all the time. If you want to call in to 888-465-3049, and if you can ask for Laith or for Mark, and you can skip everybody else if you'd like, and you can talk directly with us. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody. That's 888-465-3049. Ask for Mark or ask for Laith, and we'll talk to you ourselves.
As in faith, Laith.
Yes, I do. I tell people my name is like Faith, but with an L.
All right. Well, Laith, it has been a pleasure, and we welcome you back in the future. I normally have a co-host with me, but because of this weekend and my mom's birthday on the 4th of July, a little hectic. So.
Oh, no kidding. My birthday is next week. I'm not more than a few days away from your mom.
Birthday on the 8th.
Thank you. Yes, on the 8th. How did you know that?
Hey, I'm a retired cop.
That is amazing. You just blew my mind. Well, happy birthday to your mom. Thanks for having me. I would be more than happy to come back. This was an absolute joy and a pleasure.
All right. And so the listeners know and watchers know, my mom has seen more than 1/3 of this nation's history. She'll turn 94.
Wow. That's beautiful. You should ask her about maybe what the price of gold was when she was a kid. I'm sure.
We are confiscating gold and silver to pay.
Yeah. She probably remembers the confiscation. Wow. Well, she's had a long and beautiful life.
Yeah. Well, and you have a blessed day. It was a pleasure talking to you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless as well. Talk soon. Bye-bye.